Welcome to this video. This is a video about what books a electrician these days should have in their library, so to speak. So I'm going to go through those in a moment. But first of all, I think I better explain why I'm sitting here and not at a client site doing some work. That's why my thumb was crushed in our bathroom door at home. This wasn't even done at work. This was done at home. So I won't go into the gory details about what's happened to it, but there was a lot of blood everywhere. Anyway, let's get on with what the subject's all about. So you're in the electrical business, and there are certain books which these days you are supposed to have, especially if you're on the NICEIC, EICR or NAPIT or one of the other competent person schemes. These are mandatory books. They're the ones I'll show you to start with. The other ones aren't. Well, actually, to be fair, the last one is mandatory for me because I'm an inspector, so that last one is mandatory. But anyway, we'll come to that in a sec. So every electrician that is on the competent person scheme should have these books, and when the assessor comes every year, they will check, and if you haven't got them, you won't pass the assessment. It's as simple as that. So, shall we start with the obvious one? Okay. So, first one is the big blue BS 7671 18th edition book, and it's this one here. What is it? That one. That's the one, and it is good evening reading. And this is the book you're tested on the City and Guilds exam. This is the 18th edition exam. You're tested on this book. Okay. So that's the first one you need to have. Okay. Like I say, you can probably see that I've there's a lot of annotations I put on there in the important sections. One of which is the bit about MCBs on ring finals and radials. The radial MCB one's a good one. I think it's appendix 15, I believe, in there. Sorry, one way around. It's appendix 15 in there, I believe. Causes a lot of debate, the radial, what MCBs you can have on radials. But it's in appendix 15 in there if anyone wants to read it. Anyway, let's get the next one. So that blue book very, very rarely comes with me on site. It's enormous. It very rarely, unless I'm doing something that's out of the ordinary, which tends to be special locations, which is chapter 7. I tend not to take it with me. It's too bulky. So I take this one on site most of the time, which is that one, which is the on-site guide. Okay. This is basically a readable version of the big blue book. Okay. All the regulations are, I think, yeah, probably 99% of the regulations are actually in here. One or two aren't. Most notably, IP ratings aren't in here. They're in there, which is interesting. But yes, this comes with me all the time because there's a lot of reference tables in here about cable currents, MCB, all the stuff you need to do for calculations, for conduits, things like that. They're all in here. It's an invaluable book, this. And as I say, it's mandatory if you're on a competent person scheme to have that. So I always take that with me. There's another thing I always take with me, and it's basically that. It's a quick reference chart from. Now NAPIT have done this, and I expect NICEIC to do exactly the same. This is really useful when I'm doing the forms and the minor work certificates and things like this. This is great. To very quickly just pull this out and think, is that right? You know, sort of thing. So yeah, when I'm not sure of the readings I'm getting and things like this, this is great. You always use this thing. So the other book I have, and I'll be honest, I cannot remember if this is mandatory or not. I believe it is under NAPIT. I cannot speak for NICEIC, but it's this one. That's the Electrician Guide to the Building Regulations. In there you'll find all the stuff about about how high excuse me, about how high sockets should be off the floor, how high consumer units should be high off the floor, where your cables are allowed to run, putting cables through joists, measurements for that, the biggest holes you can put into joists, depending on how big the joists are, they're all in here. Okay. So I think it's mandatory. I cannot remember, if I'm honest. I do apologise. There's also a City and Girls exam on this book as well, so which I've done in the past. Yeah, you may well need this book. I do take it if I'm doing, say, kitchen refurbs or bedroom refurbs and things like this. I do take this with me just to remind me where things are allowed to be. Distances from cookers, hobs. It's all in here. It's really useful. You can't expect to remember everything in it. So again, useful book if I'm doing those sort of projects. Now I'm going to come on to the two books which are essential if you're going to be doing inspections. The last book I'll show you is actually good when you're doing initial verifications as well. It's got everything in there if you forget how to do a certain test. The one I keep forgetting, insulation resistance. I don't know why that is not going in. I always have to go back to the book to remind myself how to do it. I don't know why, I just do. And everything else I could do all the other tests. Everyone gets confused with ring final testing. I find those easy. This is the way I am. Insulation resistance, I cannot never remember anyway. That's just me. Anyway, so there's two books here. As I say, this first one, the EICR Codebreakers book from NAPIT, is the go-to book for inspections. Yes, it's done by NAPIT. That's irrelevant. It's valid for any electrical work, and it's recommended by any competent person scheme to have this book if you're doing inspections. Okay, this book is invaluable. It has every single test you should do on the EICRs and the recommended coding that should go with it. It's invaluable. If I'm doing an EICR, which I'm doing in 2 weeks, this comes with me. It's as simple as that. Okay, and when I'm doing the form, which goes on for about 10 20 pages, or it feels like it, I'm always referring back to this book. Okay, so that's that one. The last one is mandatory. If you're going to be an inspector of any description, this book is mandatory under the competent person schemes, and you have to have this book if you want to pass the course. If you haven't got it, you won't pass. It's as simple as that. A lot of the information is in here, so it's in nowhere else, I might add. The information in this particular book is in no other book. It's only in this one. And this one is Guidance Note 3, and it's Inspection and Testing, and it's that one. There we are. That's the current one, the 18th edition. So that's the one you need, and it has all the testing you should do. So that one, if I can't remember a method for testing certain things, and there are certain things I don't do very often because they're not on a particular site. For example, if there's any cells or pels, if they're not there, then you don't test them, and I don't test them very often. It's amazing how many houses I go to that don't have a shaver point. So anyway, so that always comes with me when I'm doing testing and inspections, always. The last couple of things that you're supposed to have, I have electronically. There's the Health and Safety at Work Act. I have to have that. I have it electronically because it's quite a large book. So you have to have that. GS38, you have to have that as well. Again, I've got that electronically. There's one other one which I can't remember. I might put it in the video if I remember what it is. I'll put up what GS38 is as well. It's the one that relates to testing probes and how long they're supposed to be and all that sort of stuff. Okay. So you're supposed to have that as well. So those are the main books. There's loads of others. If you're doing EV charging, there's one for that. If you're doing special locations, there's one for that. There's loads. 8 guidance notes at last count, if I remember rightly. Did we just have a look at the back? Yes, there are. So number 1 is selection and erection, then you've got isolation and switching, protection against fire, protection against electric shock, protection against overcurrent, special locations, and earthing and bonding. and this one. That's 8. So depending on what you're doing, a lot of those are optional. I think if you're doing EV charging, I think certain ones of those, and I can't remember which, are compulsory. I can't remember. I can't remember which ones they are. Maybe someone can mention it in the comments as to which guidance note you're supposed to have if you're doing that kind of work. Actually, if you know of any guidance notes that you are mandatory for different types of work, shove them in the comments so that we know. That'll be good. As I say, there's 8 of them. No, only other one. Anyway, so so that is my library of books. Some of which I take to site all the time, some of which stay here. As I say, the big blue BSC 7671 never goes to site with me, because I use the on-site guide. Right, so I hope everyone found that interesting. Like I say normally, great if you're enjoying the videos I'm doing, you subscribe. So then any videos on testing or installations you'd like to see that maybe I haven't done, because I've got a wide variety of work coming up, covering all sorts of different things. So if there's anything you want to see, just stick it in there, stick it in the comments, subscribe. Brilliant. And I will see you on the next one.